Hello everyone, I'm Norma Ene and welcome to the Clean Tech Pod. Today is a special episode as we celebrate Valentine's Day, not just for romantic love, but for love for people, love for humanity, and love that sustains all. We are joined by 5 incredible project leads from Clean Technology Hub, each driving impactful work across various portfolios. They will share their insights on how their work connects with environmental protection and why caring for our planet is one of the most meaningful expressions of love. Let's hear from them.
So my name is Genzi Amigo, and at Clean Technology Hub, I work as a lead for climate finance and carbon markets.
Hi, my name is Rachel Ubozo. I'm the Gender and Clean Cooking Lead here at Clean Technology Hub. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Adanze Okoro. I lead the Enterprise Development Programs under the Innovation and Growth Department here at Clean Technology Hub.
Hello everyone, my name is David. I am a staff here at Clean Tech Hub and I am the lead for emerging technologies.
Hello everyone, I'm Ibrahim Bombay and I work as the lead for climate and fragility here at Clean Technology Hub.
And you guys are welcome to Clean Tech Hub.
Thank you.
To begin, let's talk about why environment is worth living. But before then, what do we understand by love? Not love for the environment now. What is love? Ibrahim, can you tell us what is love?
Well, I hope you've not put me in a tight corner. Love is passion, it's compassion, it is affection. Love is enthusiasm, love is sacrifice, love is even more from everything that I've said. But this is in my regard. And especially I want to link it to the environment. If we can do that towards another person, show affection, show compassion, we should show that to the environment as well.
Right, so for me, love is choosing, right, or making a decision to nurture, right, to protect, and basically grow or improve something that is something or someone basically beyond yourself.
Can you tell us what love is all about?
Okay, so I would want to speak differently from Ibrahim's position. For me, I wouldn't say love is relative. However, love cannot be perfectly described. But I think if I would want to make an example of what love is, then I would say God is love. Why? Because we as humans, we can't basically understand love except we come in contact with God, because that is His nature. And that is the nature which He has given to every man. He has put a part of Himself into every man to be able to react with ourselves, treat ourselves the way God would treat us. So that is love. So if we are to bring that closer to the environment, you would understand that in order to treat the environment the way you would want someone else to treat you, good. So you have to treat the environment with respect. You would have to treat the environment with dignity. You would have to treat the environment in a way that is responsible. So I think that is for love. Love extends from God to man, and so that's pretty much how I'll describe that.
Okay. David?
Alright, so to just keep it simple, I would say love is choosing to nurture, choosing to protect, choosing to basically impact or grow something or someone beyond yourself.
That's quite amazing. And that's it.
Thank you very much. I think my view or opinion on love, first I would like to borrow what Genzini has said. I think I share his views on love, but also I agree with what Ibrahim has said. It's not something that we can explain, in certainty. For me, I think it's a feeling not just a feeling. Also, it's also an attitude. Love is the way you treat something in such a way that it remains. So I think love is an attitude, and like Genzini said, when you have it, then you now have something to give out, to another person or to your environment, or yes.
Okay. Rachel?
Thank you. So for me, love is a profound emotion that unites us and the environment together. That's just basically it.
Interesting. That's quite insightful from our own definition of love. We channeled our love right from Genzini. Genzini channeled his own love from God to human and then to the environment. That is quite insightful. So, to Adanze, what inspired your passion for environmental sustainability?
Honestly, I grew up in a household where we believe that food is medicine, and the nature is, the natural surrounding is actually healing for each and every one of us. So I think it stems from growing up in that way, witnessing environmental degradations and, its impact on communities has fueled my desire now to make a difference. Because I know what it is to be in a healthy space, or a space filled with good. I grew up with lush gardens, and we're always eating natural stuff, and yes, so I have a huge respect for the environment, and I really think everyone should enjoy what I enjoyed growing up.
Oh, that's fine. Ibrahim, what inspired you for love for environmental sustainability?
There's a deep connection if you really look at it, because I didn't firsthand bring the inputs of the creator and the creation into bear. But now, directly, the proportionality of our interaction is in such a way that it's not void of perfect. As a human being, or as living beings, whether humans or animals, we need a space or a canvas that allows our existence. The environment holds host to the most important air we breathe to survive. The environment holds host to the very canvas that we use to sustain ourselves in terms of food systems and in every other human or living being interaction. So if we don't take care of it, it will not take care of us.
Exactly.
And that, spells so much about our existence as human beings.
Rachel, you work with the women in the communities, most of the communities in Abuja, Gombe, and all that. So how does your work express love for the communities?
Okay, so thank you for that question. So our work expresses love to the environment in the sense that we try to preserve what we have by empowering these women to stop deforestation. So the work is basically looking at how the women can transition from the use of traditional fuels such as firewood. And we know firewood is gotten from deforestation, so by the cutting down of trees and all of that. So, and transitioning them to the use of renewable energy products. And when they are being transitioned to the use of renewable energy products, they won't see any need to go back to the use of firewood for cooking, knowing fully well that it affects their health, it affects the environment, and it causes biodiversity loss. So by the time they've been transitioned, they start using renewable energy products. We are actually showing love to the environment together, including the women in the community and ourselves.
Okay, Genzini, when you were defining love, you express love from God to the environment. So how do your work express love in the environment?
That's a good question. Now, I think I'll answer that from my ideology about finance. Now, I see finance as a facilitator, as an instrument or a tool that enables or that facilitates different activities, and it's cross-cutting because it works in different sectors. Okay. Now, how finance expresses love to the environment, I would go from using fragile communities for an example. Now, we see that the crux or the pivotal part of energy transitioning is enabling those within remote and last mile communities to transition from the use of traditional means of energy to the renewable sources. In order for them to do that, they need a financial buffer. They need to have that financial capability to be able to help them transition. So without that financial capability, they can't transition. They see climate change as a hoax. You're going to tell someone in a remote community that this by cooking using traditional firewood, it affects your health. She would listen to you very, very well. However, she doesn't have the means to transition. So being able to provide them with that financial buffer, with that additional means to aid them transition is very, very crucial. So driving that from climate finance through the use of inclusive financial service providers will be able to bring large volume, or be able to break down large volume of finance to smaller sizes that can meet the need of retail households and then help them transition to help them transition to more renewable energy, more renewed source of energy, as well as meet the energy transition objectives.
Okay, that's quite interesting. David, we know some of these communities are very difficult to work with, in the sense that when you get to the community, telling them what to do and what not to do, you don't need to be hard on them. You don't need to order them around. You don't need to use harsh words on them. So when you get to this community, how do you express your love to them when they are not adhering to your instructions and all that? How do you express your love to them? How do you manage them?
Okay, so first thing is, I believe that if you want to sort of encourage people to either do better, the first thing to do is acknowledge those little steps you are taking already, right? So using what Rachel said, right? So it could be that a lot of what they do, right, or they are faulting in proper waste management, right? But then to an extent, they've done so well for themselves in terms of not cutting down trees, which you get. And with what's happening today in Nigeria, where you have a lot of people with little or no access to energy, right? A lot of people are going for alternative sources, right? Obviously, generators, right? And some are also going for just solar home systems. So it would be best to begin with acknowledging you get their efforts. Well, we see that you guys are not really cutting down trees. That's a good thing to get. But then the whole idea of taking care of the environment is collective. It's not something that you just do on one side, right? It's something that you have to go all out. So if you're doing this, that's fine. But then I noticed that proper waste management, you get, there's no conscious and proper waste management, right? If we can do this, you get, then we'll be winning on all fronts. And like Genzini said, without funds, right, you just have to sort of give them some sort of incentives, right? Okay, look, we're going to help you guys take the first step, right? So for me, if you're trying to show love to them, right, when it looks like it's difficult, right, especially certain instructions, start with those little steps they are taking, right, that is also part of the fight, you get. towards every ill thing happening in the environment, and then gradually, with help and incentives, you can help them take steps for that.
Just to add up to a bit to what David has said, is in the area of unsustainable consumption patterns. So we see that the marginal propensity to consume for the poor is always higher than the marginal propensity to consume for the rich. Now, the rich consume in a responsible way as compared to the poor. So, in order for you to aid a poor man to be able to consume in a responsible way, because in responsible consumption, there is a ripple effect to the environment, on the environment.
Yeah.
So, for you to be able to assist a poor man to begin consuming in a responsible way that minimizes the negative effect on the environment, then you must be able to get him from that from the level where he finds himself financially down to a level where he has that consciousness for the environment by increasing his financial capability. So it's about income redistribution. So if income is being redistributed to build financial buffers of those within local communities, they begin consuming more responsibly, and there is an external effect to the environment.
Stemming from what you said, isn't this like supposed to hinge on a mindset shift? That's the poor man living the mindset of, to start to think, because if you redistribute this income, like you said, what are the chances that the poor man would, transition to managing it or handling it as well as the rich man?
Now, you understand that there are environmental factors to, man is a product of different factors. Mm-hmm. He's a product of his environment, he's also a product of time, he's also a product of experience. Mm-hmm. So there is an experience that financing gives to you that redesigns your mindset. So let's take, for example, let's look at a pretty remote example. If I give you, for example, you earned, let's say, 50,000 naira per month, and your consumption pattern was always buying gari, you ate gari, and then you also had also purchased beans, so you're eating both gari and beans. And then I increase your income level from 50,000 to, let's say, 200,000. With that increase, you would not want to go to the market to purchase gari again.
Just gari and beans.
You would want to increase the amount of other commodities you purchase. That's where the mindset shifts. Now, you might also want to move away from the purchase of, you may not only want to consume gari, but you might not be thinking about using semovita because you think
it's richer than gari.
So you begin thinking in a totally different way. So finance has a way of giving you that mindset shift immediately. You no longer go for inferior commodities. You begin going forward for advanced commodities because
the money is there now.
Sorry, just to build on what Adanze said, right? Okay, so I like the aspect of
financial empowerment.
Financial empowerment. Okay, but then restructuring it, right, or kind of giving a direction to the question that Noma asked, right? How does this financial empowerment and mind shift, right? How do you think it plays out, right, when you're in a community where obviously these people have patterns or behaviors towards the environment, right?
Already.
For example, I get the fact that mind shifts, right, through finance could affect certain behaviors, right? But then these behaviors are behaviors that I feel like are should I say, easy to change. For example, right, if you have a community where people defecate, right? Just anywhere, right? With financial empowerment, right? And proper, should I say, structures in place, they would easily shift, even without, you don't even need to preach to them, right? But then in cases where, a lot of times people just drink from cans and just throw them away, they get. And oftentimes, regardless of people's financial states, this is a habit that is common.
Exactly.
Except if you're talking about really successful or really rich people, right? But then from the average to probably the low income earners, this is a habit that is very common, right? So how do you, for instance, right, or how do you think this whole financial empowerment and mind shift play in trying to make them change like their behaviors?
Yes.
Kind of situation?
Before you answer, I just want to add on to just empowering this person financially does not change that if they lack knowledge, they lack knowledge. So I get where you're coming from, but I also feel like David is right, in a way. Habits are inbuilt, they've been developed over time. I don't think giving money, would automatically cause that shift that you were talking about.
No, sorry.
Okay, so for me, basically, I'm just interested in getting your own perspective, right?
Yes.
So obviously, myself and Adanzi are seeing it from a different
Two
perspective,
different
right?
views.
So how, from your own perspective, right, do you think this financial empowerment, or basically how do you use finance, right, and focusing on mind shift? How do you use this, right, to channel into a situation where you have people who are reluctant, you get, about taking the right steps, right, and then you want them to take these steps, but then reluctantly they're taking like another step. How do you put it into play, basically?
Alright, so I feel I'm being attacked, but how?
Sorry, I feel like it's coming from me.
So it's I agree with your positions, but however, I think it's not a one-size-fits-all situation, because life is not linear, but life is multifaceted. So in order for you to be able to achieve the goal of helping these individuals within local communities transition just by giving them financing, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to take away, it's not going to bring about the entire shift which they want. But however, you must have to follow that with education. Education has to be at the forefront of the intervention. So you don't just go, and the finance is not free money, because it's money is never free. Good. There's no free food even in free time. So before you even introduce that finance to give them that additional financial buffer, the first thing that has to go first has to be with that mindset shift, which is education. You have to educate, and educate. And then you then have to provide infrastructure, those basic infrastructure that's going to aid them to be able to have what it takes to transition. And then while you're then introducing the finance now facilitates the process. Like I said earlier, finance is a facilitator. So you just introducing financing initially at the first time would not work. But you must begin with that education, and through that education you're able to then provide infrastructure that aids them to be able to transition, and then you provide finance to increase their ability to purchase or to use this infrastructure, then they will be able to transition safely. But not every, you might not get the 100% transition instantly. It's going to take time, because there's a saying that you can take a man away from the bush, or you cannot take the bush away from the man. So it takes time. So you must keep on building on this, and you will get a significant effect. So it's not a 100% effect you're getting, but at least an effect that is significant, and that will be beneficial to the environment.
So basically, finance more like amplifies or facilitates the process.
It facilitates the process. It speeds up the process.
Maybe can you share a moment where you saw resilience and environmental care come together in fragile settings?
In fact, in the last mile communities, this is the order of the day. Because time and again, if we are saying they are a last mile community, so we know they are handicapped with information, with technology, with the right of prerequisites to stay afloat with regards livelihoods. Time and again, when they are faced with a calamity, so to say, in Nigeria we know floods are prevalent, and in some other parts we know we have droughts and desertification inching closer by the day. In those communities, what keeps them going essentially is one, the love for one another. Secondly, their love for the environment, which of course becomes the beacon of hope for them. A particular situation is there was a town where years before now, they planted this shea butter trees. And then the rationale was not for any economic gain. But they just had that, out of the way. So that year, they had a dry spell, suffered huge losses. So there was no any economic, gains from the year's activity, which of course how that goes to tell the entire livelihood of the community. The savior for them was that an initial love that was transferred from them to the environment by planting numerous shea butter trees. That was what saved them that year. They now harvested those shea butter fruits, went to the market, and they came back smiling to the banks. A practical example that I can always recall how love and resilience help build stronger livelihoods.
And they planted these trees without the motive of selling or using it to rescue themselves at any point.
To get profit.
So can't you say this is like the environment giving them back the love that they showed it?
Exactly. As we said earlier, once you take care of the environment
will take care of it.
What are some challenges women face in leading environmental initiatives in some communities? How do they overcome it? Since you work with communities in Abuja, how do you overcome these challenges?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So, since we started working with this community, we've encountered a couple of challenges with the women, because for most of them, they are actually aware of these alternative fuels. They know about it, but they are having a hard time transitioning to the use of the fuel because of finances. So they lack financial capacity to be able to acquire these technologies to maximize their productivity. And one way we've been able to, or we are working towards overcoming that, is providing a scheme, or we call it a microcredit scheme, where we connect them with a microfinance bank, a microfinance institution, where they can access loan at a very low interest rate, as low as 1%, to be able to acquire this product, and also get funding from organizations who are willing to actually empower these women to get the product. So another challenge is, trying to see that the loan they are getting is not going to be like a debt, because these women are already. So when we told them about the microcredit scheme, the fact that they are going to collect loan. They are not even bothered about the interest rates. As they had the loan, they were even scared. They said they don't want to be in debt, they don't want to. So even if as the interest rate is 1%, they are still scared that they won't be able to pay back. So how we've been able to overcome that particular challenge again is by educating them, telling them that they don't necessarily have to pay, at once. You can pay in installments, and as well as we are looking for support to be able to offset some parts of the loan too for them. So that's how we've been able to overcome that challenge. And another challenge is the women not being able to even use the alternative fuels. So it doesn't end by educating them, training them, just talking to them about the technologies, but we have to provide a practical way of how they can use it. So for instance, one of our participants cooks food, she sells food. So, and we are telling her about this technology. She doesn't know how to use it. So we told her about the importance and everything. So we have to bring the experts, local manufacturers, to bring the stove, light it up, educate them on how to use it, how to maintain it, and how they can actually use it in their households and in their day-to-day activities. So that is how we've been able to overcome some of these challenges. Thank you.
That's quite interesting. Valentine's Day is all about celebrating love, and today we are celebrating love for the earth. So as we wrap up, if you could encourage people to do one small thing every day to show love for the environment, what would that be? Ibrahim, can you tell us what that could be?
Well, as I said earlier, that especially with regards to the environment, if you show love to your environment, the environment will show immense love back to you, or back to us in this regard.
Okay, so for me, I think something that we do every day, right, is just to keep up with keeping the environment clean, right? Proper waste disposals. If there are trees or plants around you, right, that you can water, that's fine. So just keeping the environment clean, even if it means just properly disposing waste, that's fine.
Okay, actually I think first of all our habits, like David said, disposing, but generally, if you're someone that has to cut a tree, one mantra we had at the Department of Forestry was cut one, plant two. So you take care of your environment, you conserve, preserve, recycle, reuse what you can reuse. Don't waste anything.
Interesting. Okay, so for me, I would say enlightenment. So anywhere you find yourself, even if it's in the market, in school, anywhere at all, and you have the opportunity to educate someone on what climate change is and the habits we do or the things we do that affect the environment, by all means, let them know the effects and how they can actually change from it, even if it's as little as picking up whatever it is that you try. So it goes a very long way. That will be it for me.
As a love for humanity, because so many people will be like, you have to pay before I educate you on what climate change is. So for us celebrating Val and love for humanity, we don't need to attach money to that. I don't know if Kenzie is going to attack me.
But I agree with you actually, yes. But I feel first we should be disciples of these things. It should be in our lifestyle first, and then we start to transfer this knowledge to other people.
No, I'm not going to attack you. At least I've actually said that straight.
Yeah.
Now, I think my advice is going to come in two ways. One, to the household, and then second, to corporate entities. To the household, I'm going to encourage responsible disposal, use and disposal of wastes, as well as going back to responsible consumption. Each household should be able to consume responsibly, dispose responsibly, as well as act responsibly to the environment. While from the business, the corporate perspective, I would and encourage corporates in Nigeria and globally to move beyond compliance, ESG compliance, or environmental, social, and governance compliance. Because most times these agencies or these corporates just see it as compliance rather than looking at it as a responsibility, as something that as something that brings value to their organization as well as bring value to the environment. So moving away from that compliance mindset to a more active, to a more proactive mindset. That mindset shift is required. Now, generally, I would also say with that shift in mindset, there should be, I'm a firm believer of the academic choice hypothesis, where you can't, from a layman's term, it means you can't eat your cake and have it back. So you can't treat the environment in a way that is not responsible, and you think you'll be able to preserve the environment for the next generation. The next generation will come, so we need to treat the environment in a responsible way. So that's going to be my take.
Hallelujah. This is quite an amazing discussion, and it has been a beautiful reminder that love for the environment is love for humanity. And to our listeners, we hope today's discussion has inspired you to take meaningful action, whether it's in reducing waste, advocating for policies, educating others. As Rachel said, we all have a role to play in showing love for the environment. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate your insights.
Thank you for having us.